The crisp mountain air usually carried the scent of pine and damp earth, but today Alex Carter caught the acrid tang of wood smoke drifting from the lower meadow, his meadow. Frowning, he grabbed his binoculars from the porch of his sturdy log cabin, a world away from the manicured lawns and vinyl-sided conformity of Pinecrest Estates. Sprawling below his 50-acre sanctuary, what he saw made his blood simmer. 21 people, tents pitched in haphazard clusters. A large, crackling bonfire, coolers scattered like plastic tumbleweeds. And right in the center, orchestrating the chaos with imperious waves of a sparkly water bottle, stood Eleanor Vance, HOA President of the Pinecrest Estates Homeowners Association. Bane of Alex's existence and architect of the unsanitary menagerie clause specifically drafted to target his beloved Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherds. Alex hadn't just moved away from Pinecrest Estates. He'd moved above them, literally and figuratively. He'd bought the old Miller place, a rugged parcel bordering the HOA's pristine backyards. His land was deliberately wild, a buffer against the encroaching sameness. And his dogs? They weren't pets. They were highly trained guardians for his remote homestead and his side. Business breeding and training working line protection dogs. All 50 of them legally registered. Meticulously contained within a multi-acre, double-fenced compound equipped with motion sensors and cameras. The HOA had tried for years to force him to remove them, citing noise and unsightliness. They'd failed. The county laws favored Alex. The unsanitary menagerie clause was their petty revenge, preventing him from using community amenities he never wanted anyway. Asterisk, he'd seen Eleanor snooping near his lower fence line last week, peering through. The dense trees at the meadow, a naturally clear, grassy area perfect for, well, apparently for trespassing. He'd assumed she was just casing the joint for another HOA violation report. He'd underestimated her audacity. Asterisk, grabbing his satellite phone and a high-powered flashlight, Alex whistled sharply. 2 shadows detached themselves from the porch shadows. Ajax, a massive charcoal Malinois, and Luna, a sleek Dutch Shepherd. Their alert posture mirrored his own tension. He didn't bother with the winding driveway. He cut straight down the steep, wooded slope, Ajax and Luna flanking him silently. Ghosts in the twilight. Asterisk, the noise hit him first as he neared the meadow's edge. Laughter, loud music, the clinking of bottles. The smell of burning wood mingled with cheap beer and barbecue. Alex stepped into the clearing, his boots crunching on the grass. The festive atmosphere froze. Asterisk, conversations died. Music sputtered off mid-beat. 21 faces turned, expressions shifting from merriment to confusion, then unease as they took in Alex's stern face, his work clothes, and the 2 intensely focused dogs at his side, their eyes scanning the crowd. Asterisk, Eleanor Vance spun around, her floral blouse looking jarringly out of place. A flicker of annoyance crossed her perfectly Botoxed face, quickly replaced by a brittle smile. "Alex, there you are!" "We were starting to wonder. Welcome to the Pinecrest Annual Wilderness Retreat." She gestured grandly at the encampment. "Isn't it perfect? We needed a more authentic experience this year." Asterisk, Alex's voice was dangerously calm, cutting through the sudden silence. "Eleanor, this isn't Pinecrest land. This is my land. Private property. You are trespassing, all of you." Eleanor's smile didn't waver. It merely hardened. "Oh, don't be so dramatic, Alex. It's just a meadow. We checked the map. It looked unclaimed, and we're barely touching it. Think of it as community building. We've even brought extra s'mores supplies." She offered a saccharine smile, clearly expecting him to cave to social pressure. Alex didn't blink. He raised his voice, addressing the crowd, ignoring Eleanor. "You have exactly 10 minutes to pack up your gear, extinguish that fire completely, and get off my property, now." A murmur rippled through the group. A man in a pastel polo shirt stepped forward. "Hey, buddy, take it easy. Mrs. Vance invited us. She said it was fine." "We didn't know." "Now you do," Alex stated flatly. 10 minutes. Eleanor stepped between Alex and the man, her voice sharpening. "You listen here, Alex Carter. This land borders our community. We have a right to enjoy the natural beauty. Your constant attempts to isolate yourself are antisocial. We're staying. Consider this fair compensation for that noise factory you run up there." She gestured dismissively towards his cabin. A dangerous glint sparked in Alex's eyes. "Compensation? You break the law, trespass, endanger yourselves, and call it compensation?" He paused, letting the absurdity hang. "Eleanor, you spent 3 years and thousands of HOA dollars trying to get rid of my dogs. You wrote a special clause about them. Remember?" Eleanor scoffed. "Those monstrous beasts, kept like prisoners? It's inhumane." A slow, cold smile touched Alex's lips. It was devoid of warmth. Monstrous beasts? Prisoners? He raised his hand, not in anger, but holding a small, high-frequency dog whistle. He blew it. A sound inaudible to humans pierced the air. Nothing happened immediately. Eleanor smirked. "See? Empty threats?" Then Ajax and Luna, who had been statues, lowered their heads slightly, a deep, resonant growl vibrating from their chests. It wasn't loud, but it was primal. It silenced the last whispers, and then came the sounds. Not barks, not yet. A low, rolling thunder of growls, seeming to come from everywhere at once, the dark tree line encircling the meadow. It was a sound felt as much as heard, a vibration in the ground, prickling the skin on the back of every neck. Eyes appeared. Dozens of pairs, reflecting the dying firelight like cold emeralds and topaz, low to the ground, high in the shadows. Shapes materialized. From the gloom, powerful shoulders, alert ears, focused eyes. Belgian Malinois, Dutch shepherds, a few imposing mastiffs and Dobermans, all silent, all watching. They didn't surge forward, they didn't bark hysterically. They simply emerged, forming a loose, eerily silent semicircle around the entire camp, cutting off the easiest escape routes. 50 pairs of intelligent, assessing eyes fixed on the intruders. 50 bodies coiled with quiet, controlled power. The effect was instantaneous and profound. Panic, pure and cold, washed over the campers. The man in the polo shirt stumbled backward. A woman gasped, clutching her child. Coolers were knocked over. The festive atmosphere evaporated, replaced by a suffocating terror. Eleanor Vance's face went bone-white. Her carefully constructed composure shattered. Her eyes darted frantically from the silent, watchful dogs to Alex's impassive face. You lunatic!" she shrieked, her voice cracking with hysteria. Call them off right now!" Alex kept his voice level, projecting over the rising whimpers of the campers. "My dogs are guardians. Highly trained. They protect my property. Right now they see a threat. 22 trespassers, 1 large, uncontrolled fire, and you." He looked directly at Eleanor. "Who has actively tried to harm them. They are contained by training and discipline. But their threshold for perceived danger to me or this land is very low, especially when startled." He paused, letting the implication sink in. "You have 8 minutes." He didn't need to say more. The campers moved with a speed born of raw fear. Tents collapsed haphazardly. Sleeping bags were abandoned. Coolers were grabbed and dragged. The bonfire was frantically doused with bottled water and beer, sending up hissing clouds of steam and smoke. People stumbled, tripped, and helped each other up, eyes constantly darting to the ring of silent predators. Eleanor stood frozen for a moment, paralyzed by terror and fury, her sparkly water bottle forgotten on the ground. Then, with a strangled cry, she turned and scrambled towards the path leading back to Pinecrest, abandoning her guests without a backward glance. Her pristine white sneakers slipped in the damp grass. The exodus was messy and panicked, but within 7 minutes the meadow was empty except for scattered trash. The smoldering remains of the fire and the lingering smell of fear. The 50 dogs hadn't moved a muscle. They remained statuesque, watching the retreat. As the last panicked straggler vanished into the trees towards the HOA. Alex gave a low, distinct whistle. The tension in the canine circle dissolved instantly. Ears relaxed. Tails gave slight, controlled wags. The growls ceased. They turned as one, looking towards Alex. He gave a hand signal. Silently, like smoke retreating before dawn, the 50 dogs melted back into the forest shadows from whence they came. Ajax and Luna padded back to his side, their intense focus replaced by calm alertness. Alex surveyed the trashed meadow, his jaw tight. He pulled out his satellite phone, not to call the police immediately, but to activate the high-resolution cameras mounted discreetly around the perimeter. He had footage. Plenty of it. Starting with Eleanor Vance pointing out the perfect spot, and ending with her panicked flight the next morning. Pinecrest Estates awoke to two surprises. First, the news buzzing through the community about the disastrous, abruptly ended wilderness retreat and the terrifying encounter with Alex Carter's dogs. Second, a visit from the county sheriff, armed with a formal trespassing complaint from Alex, backed by crystal-clear video evidence. Eleanor Vance, caught red-handed organizing an illegal gathering on private property, faced citations for trespassing, illegal fire, and littering. The HOA itself was named in the complaint for potential negligence, but the real blow came from within. The campers, once Eleanor's loyal neighbors, were furious and traumatized. They demanded answers. They demanded her resignation. The video, which Alex legally shared with the sheriff and strategically with the HOA board, excluding Eleanor, showed her blatant lies about permission and her reckless disregard for their safety. The unsanitary menagerie clause suddenly looked like the petty vendetta it was, especially when the sheriff confirmed Alex's operation was entirely legal and his dogs, impeccably controlled, facing overwhelming pressure, internal revolt, and potential personal liability lawsuits from the terrified campers. Eleanor Vance resigned as HOA president within the week. The new board, eager to distance themselves from the fiasco, quietly repealed the unsanitary menagerie clause. They also sent Alex a formal letter of apology and an offer to cover the cleanup costs for his meadow, an offer he accepted without comment. Alex watched from his porch as the Pinecrest Estates landscapers meticulously cleaned the meadow, restoring its wild peace. Ajax lay at his feet. Luna surveyed the valley below. The air smelled clean again, just pine and earth. Below, the HOA carried on, a little less smug, a little more aware of the boundaries, both legal and literal, that separated their world from his. Eleanor Vance sold her house in Pinecrest Estates a month later. The rumor was she moved to a condo downtown, somewhere with no meadows, no woods, and certainly no dogs. Alex Carter sipped his coffee, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly. His meadow was quiet, his boundaries were clear. And 50 silent guardians, unseen but ever present, ensured they would stay that way. The mountain air had never tasted sweeter.